an hour was way too long to give opening remarks for, so I apologize. I'm not going to fill the white space, but we did start a little late, and we'll get Hikari a little early out of his long shower. Is that what he's doing? Oh, he's at the, oh, right, he's at the liquor. For all of you that have been at Shmoocon past, you'll know where Hikari is before the conference at the liquor store. He left a bunch of liquor in my house last year after the con, and it was about 2 months ago when I looked, and there was still an unopened bottle of Jim Beam. It was like one of those 1 3/4 suckers, the big ones that you can like kill people with. And I made a commitment to myself that I was going to drink the entire thing before Shmoocon, so I wouldn't have more people over at my house saying, hey, is this last year's liquor? And so, you know, it turns out Jim Beam for breakfast is okay. It goes well on the Fruit Loops. You get used to it after a while, but am I okay? Ted, we good? We're rolling. Oh. I was hoping for some warning before I started to libel myself. All right, so this is Shmoocon. Oh, shit. It only took them 1.5 years to get it working, but they got it working. And it doesn't smell like two-stroke, which is kind of a bonus. For those that weren't here last year, they tried to build a Shmooball launcher out of a leaf blower, and it was a two-stroke leaf blower. And so we're downstairs in the Marriott, black smoke's pouring out everywhere, and big production, and Pablos gets up in a chair, and he goes to shoot the audience, and this ball like kind of goes thoop, out the front of it. And then we got pummeled by the audience. I mean, it was just... All right, so I'm going to go through a bunch of slides. God only knows what's going to happen. We're at Shmoocon 2008. If you'd like to be somewhere else, now's the time to leave. We're going to have about 1,200 people, give or take, this year, which is a pretty good crowd, up from whatever we were at last year, 1,000 or so. I think there might have been an issue for getting tickets. And it's certainly something we're going to look into for next year, and we'll get into that on the con BOF later in the weekend. Yes? You nodded your head like you wanted something. Oh, woo! I'm going to go now. Hikari can come talk. Anyway, so the total's up. We've got new space with a amazing lack of giant pillars like we've had in years past. Yeah, let's hear it for the pillars. The speakers, I think, like the pillars because they could hide behind them. You know, they kind of strategically place themselves away. But it turns out that this is really nice space. We are literally, I think, the second group to occupy this space since the Marriott finished it. Heidi and I came and toured this space not more than 3 months ago, and it was still basically metal studs and everything throughout the whole area. So they've really been working to finish this off. You may start to hear people refer to the J rooms and the T rooms. So we had presidents that conveniently had a lot of last names that started with J, and presidents that had a last name that started with T. So the T rooms are the T rooms, they're over there, and the J rooms are over there. And as of 5 minutes from now, we'll have access to the T rooms, in theory. There has been another group, a bunch of military folks. I know there's no military in here today. What an inside joke for the rest of us. The T rooms will have some stuff, I'll get into it. But anyway, just so you know, you'll hear people referring to the T rooms and J rooms. Yes? Team D. Oh my gosh. I once did a job where I called this guy by the wrong name for I don't know how long, and I kept referring to him as Dean, and his real name wasn't Dean. And then even once I learned his real name, I kept calling him Dean, and that just stuck. So everyone that would answer the phone would be like, hi, this is Dean. Dean, hey, Dean. And so now we have Team Dean, and they have nice little T-shirts, even with little Steal Your Face Grateful Dead symbols. So thanks, guys. That's yeah. Wow. Oh, yeah, we went to... Good Lord. Oh, yeah, and I went to a freaking baseball game while I was at this job, and there was some old drunk woman that was going for a fly ball, and I went for it too, and she practically like, ripped off a fingernail and everything coming up, and she literally fell. I mean, it wasn't like she was going for the ball and I punched her, but that's what it looked like. And so when I got up here, I'm like, I'm a reasonably young-looking dude, and this old woman gets up, she's like, oh, and blood coming out. I'm like, uh-oh. And everyone's like, you bastard. So like, I'm handing her the ball, and glasses are lying on the ground, and picking them up, my face is all red, and I'm like, all right, I'm not traveling anymore. All right, so that's that. We're at Shmoocon. Good. Flight check complete. The talks. How many people have been at Shmoocon before? That's actually a large number of people that haven't. All right, so I'm going to give you a kind of rundown how the talks work. Fridays, One Track Mind. That's today. Today is Friday. I'm currently kind of unemployed. Started my own company, which is a euphemism for most days are vacations until you get contracts. And so I lose track of what days it is very easily. If my kids are in school, I know it's a weekday, and if they're not, it's a weekend, except on days like President's Day, where I still don't know what day it is. Anyway, plenary sessions, short talks, boom, boom, boom. We're going to be about 20, 25 minutes of talk for the speakers that are in the room. There is no pomp and circumstance between the talks. The previous speaker gets done, you get up on stage and you give your talk. That's all there is to it. We may have a little introduction, but don't stress about it. Just plug your laptop in, and we'll go. Ed Felton is sick, unfortunately, our keynote speaker. He's caught the super bug that's infected everyone on the East Coast. Alex Halderman, one of his students, will be filling in, who is in transit? Question mark? Okay, so hopefully we'll have a keynote at 7 o'clock. If not, you know where I'll be. And I'll just be making it up. What else do I do? Exactly, all I do is make it up. Saturday is going to be Build It, Break It, Boff It. 3 tracks. This room will be split into thirds. This front part here will be Build It. That'll, I think, be Break It, and that'll be Bring It On. Ever getting that static on this? Okay, good. Just making sure. This room will be split into 3 tracks in each room all day long. That's the way it's going to be. Sunday is going to be a mix of things. Just I'm telling you this because we'll start out in that 3-room configuration. At 1 o'clock, we're going to make this into one big room again for the closing plenary and the closing remarks. So I ask you, if you're still here and you're awake and not puking on Sunday morning, please make sure you clear the room out at 1 so that the hotel staff can get in here and do their thing. We will remind you at that time. You don't have to remember it, but I'm just pleading with you right now, get the heck out of the room at 1 o'clock. The network, might be working, question mark? Is Ken here or is he working the network? He's working. So maybe the network isn't working. If Ken's working, that means the network's not. I think there's an inverse relationship between the two. Ken's our lead network guy. So Shmoocon Labs, how many labs participants are here? Actually a fair number. So Shmoocon Labs, anyone go to the old Networld Interops back in the day when they were cool? A handful of people. That was a while ago, I guess. Networld Interop used to do this thing where they built their network. I didn't mean to call you old, sir. I'm sorry. Networld Interop did this thing where they would get a bunch of vendors and a bunch of smart folks together, and they would build a network with the latest and greatest cool toys, tricks, and whatever else, and run the conference floor with it. And it was this really neat time for people to kind of get together and build neat stuff. Over time, Network Interop kind of realized that there was a lot of money in what they were doing, and it was a giant risk to them to have this network that they couldn't necessarily guarantee was going to be up on day 1 because they were just building it on the fly. So then they relegated it off into this little room so they could show off all their gear, and they realized that was just stupid because no one actually wants to look at blinking lights all day, and they killed it. So what we did was kind of resurrect that idea. We put a bunch of people in the room, vendors, smart guys, and people that want to learn from these folks, and they spent the last day and a half building the network that you all are using here. So this isn't just the kind of patchwork of a couple of people, it's a patchwork of about 50 people who've been working very diligently for a number of hours straight now. So there is a lot of network information, I think, in your program. There's a variety of wireless networks available for you to use, including a pretty cool WPA enterprise network, which has the ability, if you go to, I think it's signup.shmoocon.net. Right. Whew, man. I should double check these things before I put them in PowerPoint and make them permanent. Signup.shmoocon.net, and you can self-enroll for a certificate, get your cert, do bidirectional certificate-based authentication with the access point, which, all things being equal, isn't a bad way to do wireless networking at a HackerCon. I mean, and honestly, you might want to consider doing it. I know they're having a little bit of an issue with the firewall right now, running out of session tables. They were literally running the entire firewall on a little Socrus box. Which apparently the hardware was doing fine, but the software assumes the hardware is going to get beat up, so it put a maximum hard limit on the number of sessions it would support. And, well, they turned it on and hit that limit, basically. So they're putting an OpenBSD box on right now, which is my personal computer that I brought down. So please be kind. If you do own it, don't like nuke the BIOS or something. I prefer that the box still boots when I'm done. They think I kid. Hacker Halo. So Hacker Halo is going on again this year. Any TF2? Yes. There you go. All right. So that was the redneck growl, by the way. Thanks for the... Daytona's on Sunday, by the way, so I'm leaving here early to go catch Daytona. Anyway, I give the Halo guys some crap, but they put on a great show. You can, if you're good at first-person shooters, play Halo. If you're good at hacking, enter the hacking side. The Halo prize, I think, is the 360. Nod? Question mark? Oh, it's the other way. I was wondering, I'm like, why the hell would the Halo person need an Xbox? Either that or they're the luckiest damn person in the world. Look, hey, I'm pretty good at this game. So just invert the order of that. If you win the Halo prize, or Halo, you get the Sling Box. It's like a Sling Box HD or something. If you win the hack prize, you get the 360. Everyone else, you don't get anything. Just leave your pride, and we'll take care of it later. If you have questions about Hacker Halo, like more detailed about what it is or how to sign up, sign-up's by Reg. All the Hacker Halo guys have really cool Hacker Halo armbands that you can walk up and find them and ask them questions. Although, coincidentally, they're black armbands, and our staff shirts are black as well, so it turns out there's not a lot of contrast there. They're a little difficult to pick up, so you can go and squint at people's arms all day if you want. Got like 2 giggles. That was really, really poor. I was surprised no Shmoocons got thrown in that. Too horrified. Thank you. From Simple Nomad saying he's too horrified. Lockpick Village. So the Lockpick Village folks are back. Woohoo! One guy with a tie raising his hand. That doesn't look suspect. How's it going, sir? Can I see your government badge, sir? Oh, it's O. Anyway, the Tool guys are putting it on again this year. For those that have never been to one of their, I'll call it an event, this is basically a chance to learn how to bypass a lot of physical security mechanisms, master locks, doors, that kind of thing. They've really upped the ante this year. There is a, for lack of a better word, kind of a box you can get locked in, and you got to bust your way out of a series of locks and things. From what they've told me, because I was a little worried about the liability of, hey, we're going to lock somebody in a box and see if they can get out. Do I have to do a breathalyzer first? You know? Anyway, apparently you can actually get out of this if you. It's kind of a pretend box, like a mime. You can. That'll make some video next year. Anyway, and honestly, if you don't know how to pick locks, it's actually a great party game. My kids are up here just hammering through Shmoocons. I actually had a party once, and I'm a pretty boring dude, and we invited a bunch of people over who didn't know what to do with them all, and so I threw some lock picks and a couple of locks on my kitchen counter, and then started to explain how to pick locks. And about 3.5 hours later, no one had moved. I don't think any of the liquor was drank, except we were locking people out of my house at that point, and then watching them break back in. And as we discovered, actually, most of the locks in my house are kind of old and decrepit, and you can break into my house with nothing more than a toothpick because there's like only one pin that works in all my locks. So you walk up and be like, click, oh, look, I'm in. So there were some... what? Oh, telling people how easy... Yeah. 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Yes, please. Make sure it's old. And if you can leave the decrepit Snapple that's from last year, too, that would be great. That's the one thing. Jim Beam, that's a year old, you can drink. Snapple, that's a year old, no. Okay? I'm like, ooh, Snapple. Yeah, exactly. It's fermented. Anyway, go learn how to pick locks. If for no other reason, we do security stuff, right? And you hear about it all the time and whatever. It's actually a very useful skill to have, and it's very important that you understand. Yeah, and we locked ourselves out of our storage unit this year, and so we had tried to pick our way into the storage unit, which looks a little suspicious on the video camera that's looking over the whole storage unit with this guy. But we got in. Anyway, yeah, with a key. Yeah. 1601 Pennsylvania Avenue. It's a little guard shack, but it's not really a guard shack. It's a storage unit. T-shirts. We sell T-shirts for $10. Yay. No, we don't. What? We don't sell T-shirts at all. The charities sell the T-shirts for $10. Here's the way it worked. In years past, T-shirts might have been sold. But this year, what's going to happen is you're going to buy T-shirts, and you're going to give us $10, and then you're going to put this little token that we're going to give you into one of 3 buckets. The buckets represent 3 charities. OLPC, I'm sorry, I think I put Hacker Charities, but it's ihackcharities.org. Johnny's thing. Johnny? Johnny? There's no Johnny. He's outside, thanks. The fire marshals come and kept him away. And EFF. So the idea is we really don't need the money from the T-shirt sales. That's why we were selling them cheap anyway. But then we got the idea of we don't even need to deal with it, and we're just going to give it to people. So yeah, all the money for the T-shirts go to charity directly. We pay the cost of printing, so we're actually paying for the T-shirts, and then you guys pay for them, and it all goes to charity. So anyway, please put your token in somewhere. If you have any moral objection to all 3 of these charities, come talk to me, and we'll try to find some appropriate way for you to spend your $10. Beer bucket, yeah. Maybe you get to buy a shirt then. There's 4 really cool designs. I don't know if anyone's wearing said designs that we can stand up and have them be pointed out in front of people. No. Excellent. That worked out well. Hey. Oh, yeah, and that's the easy one to see, sir. That's the black Shmoocon logo on a gray shirt. So for those in the far end of the room, that's a male Homo sapien, and he's wearing a shirt. Anybody else got a shirt on? Or anyone else want to just take it off? So, kids. I didn't have an hour's worth of material, so I'm just going to let my kids run around now. It's going to be like Chuck E. Cheese. Speaking of, yeah, by the mouse. I scare the hell out of little kids. Next to the, so the Hacker Arcade, speaking of Chuck E. Cheese. Thank you. Jeez. The Lockpicks Village is right next door. So these are in the, which rooms are those? J, right? No, I'm sorry, those are the tea rooms over there, whoever said tea. So in the tea rooms, there'll be the Hacker Arcade and the Lockpick Village. The Hacker Arcade is basically Chuck E. Cheese with cryptographic tickets instead of paper tickets, okay? That's the general premise of it. You play a game. Based on how good of a job you do playing that game, then you get cryptographic tokens loaded onto your, sorry, I stepped on a shmoo load onto your USB dongle. So first of all, it should scare you a bit that you're going to plug your USB dongle into a random device, okay? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You may consider wiping off all the data you care about off that USB dongle beforehand. There is a kiosk that you have to go to first to register your dongle, and we drop a file onto your dongle that basically keeps track of who you are. It's got a name. These are like, government code names, like Super Squirrel or something like that it loads on. It's actually a fun little program we wrote that just grabs like an adjective and a noun and glues them together. So we just run that over and over and over because it's funny, and there's nothing else to do in the arcade because everyone else is playing video games. It's not very exciting to watch other people play video games, as it turns out. My son does, my 10-year-old son. Thank you. So anyway, that all happens. When you're done, you pull out your dongle, you walk back up to the kiosk, you plug your dongle into the kiosk, it tells you how many tokens you got, and you can get prizes. It is literally just like Chuck E. Cheese, except with cryptographic tokens on USB dongles. You cannot double spend the tokens. I say this boldly. And you cannot create new tokens. In theory, we checked this. We had a little ponage the first year, but we were all better. There is no skill crane this year to own. Is anyone here for the skill crane? David Rhodes, are you here? David Rhodes is, what? I heard someone, no Dave Rhodes. Dave Rhodes is a web app guy, lives in Northern Virginia, and on Sunday we had a skill crane. It was controllable, 2 sides. One side, you controlled it with your hand. The other side, you controlled it with the tubes. You went to a web page, and you clicked on a spot in the picture, like the little teddy bear's head, and then the claw would come over and try to pick up the teddy bear. And the problem was people would run this from the conference floor because they thought it was cool, and meanwhile we'd be sitting in the arcade and and this prize would fall on the floor. You're like. Some of the prizes were pretty nice, the USB dongles and stuff. Some guy would come running in, did I win? We're like, no. It's like, but it's not there anymore. Oh, it must have dropped somewhere. I'm sorry, guy. Anyway, so David comes in on Sunday, and he's like, does anyone have a laundry basket or something? Sure. Dave walks into the arcade. About 10 minutes later, Dave walks into one of the rooms that talk's going on in, and he's like, I own the skill crane! And he's got the thing totally full with all the prizes. And he had written a script that went to every XY coordinate, and the hand would go down and come up and drop it. Go down and come up and drop it. Go down and come up and drop it. And he got like 80% of prizes that way. So he walks in the room and he's just heaving stuff around. So he owned the skill crane. Then the skill crane suffered a horrible demise on the way out of the hotel. But that's a different story. Anyway, one thing to note, all the proceeds for the Hacker Arcade go to charity. For the games that have working coin slots, so my game the first year I didn't have a working coin slot. Actually, for 2 years, I didn't have a working coin slot. And people would just come up and they're like, I don't have a quarter, here's a 20. You know, because it's going to charity and they shove money in there. And then when we got working coin slots, we realized we made like $18. The first year we made like 1,000. Like something's not right. So please, if you want to donate more to whatever charity, we'll put a sign up as far as what charity we choose. But if you want to donate more, let us know or let that charity know, or we'll split it. Heidi says we'll split it 3 ways. That was simple. I was waiting for an executive decision. We'll split it 3 ways. If you don't need to write on your quarter, no. And conversely, you don't need to actually cut your quarter into thirds. It may very much anger the coin slot. So, but at the end of the day, even if you don't give the charities money here, consider going home and giving some charity money. I mean, just one thing we're trying to get across with the Hacker Arcade. It's a lot of fun, but it's really meant to, raise awareness for some of these organizations and get money to them. So please, leave Shmoocon, send in your pledge money to your local PBS or whatever you haven't done lately. God knows, I've got one of those envelopes on my desk. Like, I'll get around to sending my pledge in. Sure. Okay. I think that's it. Saturday night, there's a party. Who would have thunk it? Yeah, wow, that was a lot of excitement. Saturday night, there's a party! Jeez. It's yet a different place. We have several advantages of this place. It's bigger than last year. Yay. Yay, thanks. Man, gee, God. It'll be crowded. I mean, clearly we will occupy whatever space that we have. We're Brownian motion, right? Like, woo, hey, look. And we get bigger. 3 physics geeks laugh. They have a real sound and light system. When the Shmoocon bar tab runs out, they're not letting anybody else in anyway. It's still our place all night long, so you can buy your own drinks at that point and stay there until they kick you out. So there won't be any random other strangers roaming around. It's still your 1,200 closest friends. Oh, they still have liquor, just to be clear. It's still a bar. And there are directions in your program. Note, you need the little wristbands in your program to get in. Cool. If you're not going to use your wristband, please turn in a registration. There's SOs and things that want to come out on Saturday night and party, and we want to make sure that they have wristbands to get in too, because we only printed up enough to give to all the attendees, and so we have to ask for them back. Seems kind of strange. We could have just probably printed more. Oh, that's true. That's true. We're not all going to fit in at once, but anyway. Saturday night party, that's it. Okay. There are a variety of contests going on. There's Hackett from Applied Security. I pluralized we by adding another I. I thought that was cute. Sign up at their booth, which is by the tea rooms. All right, we're getting, yes, they moved. It's all right. Getting all kinds of distracted. So what that is basically a multi-step hacking contest. Just like last year, for those that were here, there's lots of little bits. You'd really, some of the, the basic steps. I think you might get a prize just for playing through the first level, question mark, something. And the first few levels are relatively straightforward. I say that, and I don't mean to belittle anyone who tries the first level and can't get through. If you want, I can help you out and get you an answer so you can still get the first prize, because I'm up here being a jackass. What? What, we? Shmooconography. I spelled shmooconography wrong because there's no way to spell it right, first of all. There's a URL in the program, and it should be online now, and if it's not, it'll be online very shortly. There are other clues that you have for shmooconography that if you're really bored, you would probably have found by now. There's a clue. I feel like Steve on Blue's Clues. There's a clue. What? Who found it? Gray? Oh, it's Joe. It is Joe. Thank you, GM. Or whoever's Toby. It was Toby? Toby corrected me on the history of Blue's Clues. It's now Joe and not Steve. Steve's brother, yes. This is clearly off topic. Anyway, there is another contest. What? I think Toby's actually found the mystery contest. Was Toby in here? Toby was just annoying people at the top of the escalator, and I think he realized what the mystery contest was. We're not going to say what the mystery contest is. We're going to let you try to figure it out. So it was too. I saw you, dude. You were like backing people up. There's some guy who lost his toe. I mean, loss prevention was there trying to glue it back on. It was horrid. I can't prove it was Toby. There will be more talks as the time goes on. One thing we realized last year with the contest is the people that were participating, actually there were two problems. One, they didn't know where to get all the clues, because I would get on stage and before a talk and be like, here's a clue, blah, and then I'd run away, and if you didn't hear it, tough. So this year we're going to post the clues over by registration. So if you don't hear the verbal ones, you can go read the other ones. So at any point that you want to pick up where anybody else left off, just go look at registration, because odds are no one else made it any farther than what's there. If you're doing Shmooconography or in the mystery contest, there was also an issue of how do I report that I won? Last year we had a bunch of people like hauling ass back to the hotel, screaming the answer, scream the sausage fridge, and you know, it's like it didn't. Yes? Will, does it have a text message that they're supposed to send to a specific phone number? No. No, there he is. No. No, there's no. So if you are playing a contest, find Heidi or I, and we will get you our cell phone numbers. And you can text us the answer once. And just the answer. Should really edit these before I put them up and think about this a little bit. Oh, here's my cell phone, 1,200 people. All right, so Michael, where's Michael? There's Michael. All right, I told Michael he should get a funny-looking hat so people can identify him for this, and we may fashion one out of something for him. If someone wants to fashion Michael a funny-looking hat, do you know your head size? Large, okay, so that's a technical term, large, somewhere between this and this, make a hat. Michael's working on his dissertation on kind of the hacker culture and similar things down at the University of Central Florida, and he's trying to conduct a survey while he's here at Shmoocon, talking about you know, hacking experiences, decisions involved in hacking, things of that nature. The survey itself is supposed to be non-incriminating, anonymous, all that kind of good stuff. It's gone through the UCF ethics and risk boards. You know, it's on the up and up. Now, only if he's what? There's all kinds of things. If you want to say something, throw a shmooball. I swear to God, like that'll get my attention better than anything else. Yeah, thanks, Ted. There was Ted. Anyway, if you're interested in participating in that, please talk to Michael. He will get you hooked up. He'll be in the press room, and he'll be roaming around the rest of the time. Is this cutting in and out, or am I just... The speaker is too? Oh, Ted's playing. It was like cover fire. Like he threw it at me, distracted me, and then ran up. Videos and pictures. So real quick, Ted's doing videos again this year. Yay, Ted! Yay, Ted! Ted's fantastic because, first of all, Ted, where are you from? Los Angeles. Ted, how'd you get here?
I drove here nonstop, leaving Tuesday to get here because I had another show to do.
Ted drove nonstop across the country to film. This is the third year in a row he's done this. So, yay, Ted. Ted films these talks and then sells DVDs of them. Ted also gives us rights to put them on our website for you to download or anyone to download to go check them out. Okay? So this is like the open source quandary. How do you make money off of open source? You know, how do you make money off of Ted's videos? Please, if you enjoy the content here and you want to support Ted and the work that he's doing, buy his videos. You know, we like Ted. We like to see him come back. We like to see him, you know, get rich or at least continue to persist in the way he's been persisting. And so I wasn't sure how to say that in some way that wasn't going to be offensive to somebody, so I just fell off the edge of the earth with that one. But anyway, please buy something from Ted. His setup's going to be back by the second set of doors back there, and he'll be selling videos. He's literally like burning them and selling them while he's here. I mean, it's pretty cool. So if you got people back in the office and you want to bring them videos of certain talks, Ted can hook you up. Pictures. There is a picture policy in the program. Some of you may be used to conferences where they have picture policies. Many of you are not. Picture policy, no pictures in the track rooms. Okay? You don't take pictures in here. If you take pictures elsewhere, we ask that you have everyone that's in frame is consenting to the picture. It's easy if it's two people against a wall. It's harder if it's two people in front of the mass of people that are behind them. Okay? We take this pretty seriously, and as we're getting bigger, we're going to take it more and more seriously. There are people here that value their privacy for a variety of reasons, and we try to provide kind of a relative safe haven and honest broker kind of place for people to come and talk about security issues, and we don't want a lot of crap because there's pictures flying all over the place. So please take pictures of your friends, post them on Flickr, I don't care. Don't go taking pictures of any random person at the conference, because we will eventually ask you to leave. So, sorry to get all serious on you. There is one official picture person, two official picture people. They are carrying cameras, so you know that they're official. Carson and, who? Rock. Okay, Rock. Is Rock in the room? Oh, he's in the back. That was a good guttural grunt there, sir. There's Rock. Something in my ego. All right, so that's it. That's the picture policy. Yee-haw. Key staff. Just real quick, I want to run down the list of folks that are helping making this possible for two reasons. One, oh, damn it, forgot Tamsin. Again, such a tool. There's two reasons why I want to run this list by you. One, these people make this conference possible. We hope that you enjoy your time here. Two, if you have issues, we really want to make this as enjoyable as possible. We want to make sure that things are working the way they're supposed to. So by all means, track down the right person and try to make things better. Heidi's the lead. Stand up real quick. If she doesn't stand up, as it turns out. Ken's network lead. He's got a little campy biking hat on. He's in the knock most of the time. Chris, Hacker Halo. Chris Compton. This worked out really well. None of them are here. Logan, Hacker Arcade. Right. Deviant, Lockpick Village. Right. Freshman Security. Freshman has sunglasses on. That's the one guy I'll tell you how to figure out who it is. He's got sunglasses and a Bo Sox cap on. I have a bounty on the Bo Sox cap. 25 Shmoocons if you could bring me that thing. Bob's in charge of AV. Bob. Over there. Okay, we got one. Bob's pretty... He's Bob, so if you recognize him later, I'll be impressed. Todd is press and sponsors. You probably, if you had something to do with these people, we've already met them, but if you haven't, you have questions, feel free to try to track these folks down, and we'll help you out. So on that note, most people that have seen me talk know that I have an intro slide that's some approximation of don't believe anything I say. And I want to kind of drive that point home here real quick. We put on Shmoocon because, the initial rationale was we saw a lot of things going on in the security community. We saw a lot of conferences. Some were really good, some not so good, and we wanted to be there making a difference. At the end of the day, there's a lot of things going on in the community right now, and we need to really spend some serious cycles thinking about, are we doing the right thing? Are we really helping the end result we're trying to get to? Ultimately, we're trying to make systems more secure, right? We're trying to make end systems that people deploy in networks more secure. And there's a big kind of self-feeding middle ground that's starting to occur in the security industry that's making it very difficult to keep that end sight in goal. Okay? And something we're trying to do with the conference here is really help keep that end sight and goal. We chose talks this year very specifically on things that we thought you all needed to hear. Okay? We chose talks and we chose speakers that we thought had an important message. We may not agree with that message, but it was a message that we thought we want you guys to hear. So please tune into the message, tune into what they're saying, and challenge the speakers. All right? The speakers, I contend, the first talk I gave, first real talk I gave, was at DEF CON, like in '99. And I was scared out of my damn mind. I'm like, holy crap, it's DEF CON. It was big back then still. It wasn't a small conference. And I got up on stage in front of, I don't know, it was like 1,000 people. And I was convinced. I was just talking out my butt, and everybody was going to be like, you're a jackass, you're dumb, you don't know what you're talking about. There were things I knew that were in my presentation that weren't necessarily 100% correct, but I had nothing else. Like, this is what I had to present. And I got up there, and no one said anything. People came, oh, this is a great talk. They came up to me afterwards, shaking my hand and stuff, and handing me things, and I woke up the next day in a trunk. It was... It was really shocking to me. And at first I thought it was funny. I'm like, wow, Nobody challenged me. That was cool. The next year I was up on stage giving a talk with Adam Shand, who's another Shmoo. Adam never given a big talk. And Priest was doing Spot the Fed and a giveaway before our talk. And so that took like half of our talk because Priest likes to hear himself talk. No offense if you're here, Priest. He's a big dude. He'll kill me. But Adam was sitting there sweating bullets. I mean, God, I thought he was actually going to pass out. His face is all red. He's sweating through everything. I'm like, dude, you could get up there and say the most insane shit and no one's going to care. Okay? No one's even going to question you. Be like, oh, wireless Ethernet really uses wires. Oh, I should write that down. And then it started to dawn on me, like, that's really bullshit, right? Like, there's no reason we shouldn't have been challenged. There's no reason that we should sit through one of these talks and not challenge the speaker that's on stage. So when we started Shmoocon, we started thinking, hey, you know, what's a way to help make that happen? Well, people get intimidated, right? If someone were to stand up right now in the audience and say, you're full of shit. Thank you. God bless, my kids are in the room too. That's great. It's tough to do that as an individual, you know? It's one thing when I'm inciting you to it. It's quite another when you're in the middle of a talk, some guy's up there presenting his findings or loose research that we've done, and to stand up and say you're full of it. A lot easier way to express that is you heave something at the person, preferably something that's not going to kill them. And so we got this Shmooball idea. Figured this would be a physical manifestation of the you're full of shit moment. And so we would let people throw Shmooballs. Well, so the first thing that happened was people thought they were souvenirs and didn't want to throw them. I'm not going to give away my Shmooball. How many people, when you've left here, has done something constructive with your Shmooball? Okay, that was more than I thought. I was over at somebody's house the other day, and I'm in his garage, and there's a Shmooball on the floor, like underneath a tire in his car. And I'm like, what the hell is that? It's like, I don't know where it came from. I'm like, Shmooball's in his garage, you know? No one's, I mean, you take them and they're cute and all, but here's the deal. If you really want to keep them for a souvenir, but you do have something you want to say, throw it. And then you can come and you can buy one from registration for $1, or you can come to me and try to justify why you threw it, and if I think it's good, I'll find you a Shmooball and I'll give you another one. All right? You will go home with a Shmooball if you have either $1 in your pocket when you leave, which is sometimes questionable, or if you have a good reason on why you threw it. All right? I promise you, you will go home with a Shmooball in those two circumstances. Okay? So please, challenge the speakers. I want the speakers in this room to get nervous right now, because you all are going to take it out on them. Okay? This is really important. I cannot underscore the fact enough that the security industry right now is feeding on itself really badly. Okay? We've made some really squirrely decisions in the last 20 or 30 years that are starting to catch up with us. And we're not going to figure out our way to dig it out unless we get real serious about this thing that we call a discipline. Right? Computer security is one of the most relaxed disciplines known to mankind. Right? We just kind of invented it. And people, how many people have classical training in computer security in this room? Right, a handful of folks. And most of those people probably got in the last few years. Right? This is not something that's been around for forever. So we've kind of done on-the-job training, and we've made ourselves smarter, and we have hacker cons, and somehow this qualifies as training. People, your employers pay for you to come here. How cool is that? Yeah. So make something happen. You know, we have the opportunity to make a real difference here at this conference, at other conferences, in your daily job. You know, take a Shmooball, go to work, bean some vice president in the head. Let me know when you do. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. It's very important to me. It's very important to the Shmoo group and the organizer of Shmoocon that this is something that's constructive and not just a reason to get together every year and drink and have fun. Clearly, we want to do that. But at the end of the day, if we're not making a difference doing this conference, we're probably not going to do it anymore. Okay? This is not just a self-perpetuating thing. This is something that we take pretty seriously. So, anyway, that's everything I had except for the podcaster meetup. Who's here for the, who's right there in the back? Thank you for being all the way in the back, sir. 9 o'clock, right?
9 o'clock
Sweet, I wanted one of those. I might be a podcaster tonight. Anyway, podcaster meetups at 9 p.m. Anybody else want to make any announcements about little meetups or things that are going on? For what? Anything. No. Okay. So last year, cutely, we gave out the Own the Vendor Award because someone popped a vendor. We don't want to encourage that, so please leave the vendor's gear alone. Anyway, concentrate on the real contest. The vendors are up on both the J halls and the T halls, so feel free to go out there and schmooze and check out all their stuff. Oh, the first round of Shmooconography stuff is on the website, so if you have this vendor angst that you're looking to take it out in the Shmooconography contest. Any other thoughts or concerns? Yes. Excellent. I'm a dumbass. All right, thank you very much. So for those that didn't hear, they're still building Interop like they were, so that's fantastic. That's great news to hear, and I apologize for that. So thank you for correcting me. Any other random things before we get Hikari up here? Wow, that actually turned my face red. That got me all embarrassed and verklempt. I have been lying through my teeth. All right, Pavlos is walking up here importantly or unimportantly? Okay, unimportantly. All right, so without that, Hikari's going to get set up. We're going to start here probably in about 5 minutes, which will be, and Pavlos will introduce Hikari when the time comes. So if you need to use the restroom or otherwise flee, do it now.